something to Katie and see if she can give you
I
a
know.
trial.
That's what I was thinking too. I know. I might.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk to her because I mean she's so helpful already.
I know, she's such a sweetheart.
She really
All
is.
right, let's see. Oh, maybe I have to push the button. That probably would be helpful.
Buttons are good.
Buttons are good. Let's
Buttons
see. If
are
I
good.
push this button, does anything? Nope, it won't let me push the button. All right, so there is something wrong. Let me copy that.
We are
Come
live.
back here. Oh, and let me add you to the.
Oh, look at your background. I love it. That's amazing.
Thanks. Let's
Oh,
see.
so
There we
cute.
go. There you are.
Oh,
Now
awesome.
in the frame.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Let's do this. Let's put this up here.
Okay.
Cool.
Now let's see. Save that. Now will it work? All right. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Well, it looks like we're doing okay on uh, YouTube, so I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure why is Instagram being so picky.
Funky. That is weird. Yeah, I don't know. You see, if I had gotten a subscription for Ecamm, I would be very helpful. I got some work to do.
Alright, I don't know if Tater's here yet, but
Someone's here. I see someone.
he loves the technical difficulties.
You just roll with it. And you just roll with
Uh,
it and make it work. It's all good. It
yeah,
is
yeah,
all
we'll
good.
have to stick with YouTube, I guess, which is fine. YouTube is
That's all
wonderful.
right. We'll figure it out as we go. It's
Let's
all good.
see. Okay, yeah, my mom or my nephew, hi Ollie, confirms we are seen and heard on YouTube. So,
All right. Cool.
okay, welcome everyone to this very special live episode with me, Stacey, your Disney hotel lady. And today I've got Dr. Steven. I've never asked you how to properly say your last name.
Cabebe. I go by
Kabibi.
Stephen
Okay.
Cabebe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I always just call you Steven, right? So, uh, all right. So, first off, Steven, tell us about yourself. Tell us what took you into physical therapy. And of course, since we are all Disney lovers here, where did your love of Disney come from?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks, Stacey, for having me on the show. It's really an honor to be able to do something like this and collaborate. So, again, thank you. Um, Again, my name is Dr. Stephen Kabibi. I am a physical therapist. My goal is to make sure that you have a pain free, soreness free, exhaustion free vacation. So I help you physically prepare for your trip, whether or not it's a theme park vacation like to Disney World, um, on a cruise ship, on the plane, on the train, driving, an international trip, whatever it is. That's my goal, is to help you have a pain-free vacation. So I'm originally from California, so I was raised with the California Disney parks. But believe it or not, and I think I shared this with you, Stacey, I wasn't a big Disney fan or Disney parks fan until I started dating my now wife. Um,
Mhm.
I grew up as a Pixar kid, as a Nickelodeon kid, as a Cartoon Network kid. I did not grow up as a Disney kid, so Disney Channel wasn't really part of my curriculum. uh, but once I started dating my wife, by that time I had gone to Disneyland a couple of times, like literally a couple of times. And my wife, she's like one of the biggest Disney fans ever. So she was like, "You have to go to Disneyland. We got to go together." So we went for the weekend with her family, and by the end of that weekend, that was the first time I got my annual pass, and that's how quickly my love for Disney grew.
Oh, I think you might have had one ulterior motive there too.
Maybe. But I mean, so we've gone to the Disney parks in California a ton since then, and then more recently we moved out here to Orlando, where she has the very fortunate job to be working for the mouse, and I get to tag along for the ride.
Woohoo! Yes. Right.
hmm
And I know you had some exciting news the other week. Where should a person be in Disney World to maybe catch a glimpse of your wife on some days?
Yeah, so she is at a lot of the different parks, and more recently, she got a special call to work on the Adventure Friends Cavalcade, and I'll just leave it at that. Um, and actually, she also got better news that she's also going to be working on the Festival of Fantasy Parade, which is huge for her. So we're both really excited.
Awesome.
She couldn't be more ecstatic for where she is now with the company.
Yes, that is so exciting. As soon as I asked that, I was like, "Oh no, are you allowed to say?" My bad. Sorry about that.
I'll
My
just
bad.
leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. It's all good. It's all good.
All right. So, uh, you started off in California. Now you're
hmm
in Orlando. Uh, just you personally and your family, what are your travel habits? What do those look like?
Yeah. So are we talking like traveling on the plane, traveling to Disney World, or does it matter?
Anything you want to share?
Okay. Yeah. Totally. So one of the things that I've developed, one of the habits I've developed that I've had to learn multiple times because I made this mistake was to stay hydrated. And when I mean stay hydrated, I mean like before you even leave your house to go to the airport. Make sure you stay hydrated while you're on the plane, especially if you're traveling from California to Orlando or like anywhere on the West Coast to Orlando, because that's a long flight.
Yeah.
Staying hydrated when you get to the or to get to your destination, whether or not that's Disney, and then of course staying hydrated throughout the entire trip. You'd be surprised how quickly you'll get dehydrated or just simply forget to take sips of water here and there
Mm-hmm.
because you're so excited to be where you are, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things biggest habits I've developed, but also I have to keep reminding myself because it's so easy to forget. Um,
It
big
is.
one for me.
Yeah. Yeah. See here.
Big one for me.
Rub
Oh,
it in
I
for
love
me.
it.
I got mine.
I love it. Actually, you'll love this. Check
Yeah.
this out. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
Yes. We may have collected a few of these cups when we were still living in California. And yeah, these aren't going to go away anytime soon. Definitely not.
um, so I've heard, maybe others have this question as well. I've heard that by the time you are thirsty, it means you're already getting dehydrated. Is that accurate? Like gauge?
Yes. Yeah. That's a really good gauge to use. Mm, so this a lot of this is from experience, but also a lot of this is from talking to other people about it that have gone through this, which is a lot of people. But when I was in my competitive road cycling days, the one thing I learned was you got to stay hydrated. You got to stay hydrated. You got to stay hydrated. And the next thing I learned was once you're thirsty, it's already too late.
Okay.
So, once you start to feel thirsty, you already know, okay, you gotta, for lack of a better phrase, catch up. But
Okay.
really, you want to avoid that as much as possible, right? So, the big recommendation I make, especially when you're at the Disney parks and especially when it's hot and humid out, because the
Mm-hmm.
temperatures are starting to rise now that we're into spring.
Yeah.
Um, the recommendation is to drink around 100 ounces of water for women, about 150 ounces of water for men. So really, just going and drinking as often as you can throughout the day, right? And a couple of things that tend to come up when I say those numbers are, dude, that's a lot of water. And it is. It is. Don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah.
So don't forget, other things count to stay hydrated too. So things like milk, things like coffee, tea, all different types of fruits, especially like watermelon, grapes, mm, other foods that have a lot of water in it, veggies. So there's a lot of other sources of water that can help add up to that 100 or 150 ounces.
And that's per day, right? 100,
That's per
150.
day. And
Okay.
that's specifically when you're planning to walk all day at the Disney parks.
Okay. And a follow up, when you said catch up, like, is it possible to catch up? Or are you just like done?
It's so it's possible to catch up, as long as you're not too far dehydrated, or as long as you don't have a lot more physically for the rest of the day.
Ah, okay.
So what I mean by that is, if you're already really dehydrated and it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you've got another 10 hours in the day left,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be harder to catch up. I think you can do it, but if you keep walking and walking and walking for the rest of those 10 hours without taking a break, without slowing down, without sitting down to get that water back into your body, you're more likely to burn out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So don't get thirsty, people. Just nip it in the bud. Take those sips early in the day.
Water is so important. And I love how many water refill stations there are throughout the Disney World resorts. I have to admit,
Yeah.
though, places like Magic Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, I think only has like two water refill stations or three. And when I mean refill stations, I mean the ones where you bring your water bottle in and it automatically fills your bottle
Yeah.
for
The,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, not the ones that uh, Sean from but mostly Disney. How he goes around and
Yeah.
tries to test those water fountains. Not those
Yeah.
fountains. There's a lot of
Yeah.
those too, but those are harder to fill your water bottles than the refill stations. But
Yeah.
anyways, Magic Kingdom doesn't have enough. I mean, it could use more. Let's say we could use more, and then Animal Kingdom can probably use more. Um, but also, don't forget, you can always refill your water at a quick service restaurant.
Yes, and I've noticed too when I've been there in the summer, sometimes the quick service restaurants will put just like those big like Gatorade jugs out there, and you can like in the seating area, and you can just go fill up your water.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
and I,
nice.
I feel like that is definitely nice, and I feel like they especially put those out there on hotter days. I've seen that happen, like at Satuli Canteen before. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so tell us then what motivated you to become a physical therapist, and then what was your motivation behind writing your new book here, Disney Ready, Your Pain Free Park Survival Guide?
I love how you have the book on hand. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So, what motivated me to become a physical therapist? I have been an athlete for a really big part of my life, but I've also been a musician for a longer part of my life. And I've been, I, without really knowing it, I've developed a love for just human movement and how the body moves and how aware I can be of my body. And there came a point after college where um, I realized that I can take that love of movement and that awareness of your body when you're moving and we can tweak it, we can change it here and there, and those tweaks and changes can make really big differences in how you feel. And that can apply to whether or not you're in pain. And you can take that and apply how you feel and how you move, make those tweaks, and then feel better. So there was something about that that I really, really liked. And physical therapy, that naturally, I gravitated towards physical therapy because of that. So that's what took me to physical therapy. Now, the book, which, by the way, I do have a copy on me, by there it is. The book. So the book really was. It was the idea came from all of the stories of people going specifically to Disney World and finishing their vacation feeling sore, like having a sore back, their feet are killing them, their knees are bothering them, they're exhausted, they're falling asleep halfway through the day sitting in carousel of progress, things like that, right? Which
Yeah.
can sound kind of vivid only because I've been there too.
Yeah.
So from all
I think,
those stories, oh, go ahead. Yeah,
oh, I was just gonna say, I think most of us, yeah, at one point or another, been there. Yeah.
yeah. From all of those stories, and from my experience as a physical therapist, I was like, hey, I can combine what I know with my love of going to Disney and then figure out how to have a pain-free vacation. And really, like, the first time I went to Disney World really wasn't that long ago. And that first trip, especially as an adult, made me realize, hey, I need to be in shape. Like, I need to be physically in shape for a full-on Disney vacation. Um, and after that vacation, I was like, okay, we got to figure things out. So that's where that started. And then, a few years later, I was like, okay, like I got to start writing about this and document it. And here we are at the book. So,
Awesome.
yeah, it's great. This book is awesome because it's a pocketbook sized guide for you. It fits into my crossbody bag, which is really nice and light. I take that into the parks. I reference it when I need to, especially for example, this book has a list of all the water refill stations so you can stay hydrated, and tells you where they are in each park. So it's really, really handy, especially when you get into the parks.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good thing to have on hands if you need to stay hydrated. Okay,
Absolutely.
so I've got this fun little thing that we're gonna try here. We're gonna do the a lightning round, and I'm gonna see if I can get us a little timer put up on the screen,
Oh
and we're gonna
gosh,
see how many of these
pressure.
questions we can get answered in 30 seconds. Well, not really, because then whatever we don't get answered in 30 seconds, we'll just talk about in a normal time frame.
Fair enough.
But
Okay.
just for fun, let's see how we can do. All right, so let's see. We want a timer. No, we don't want. And
Take my sip of water again. Here we go.
yeah, there we go. All right. All right, I think I'm going to add this and then I'll start asking the questions because it looks like it's going to start as soon as I hit add, okay? So you ready?
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go. Oh, and it's all tiny. How many trips have you taken to Disneyland?
In my lifetime, right?
Lifetime, yeah.
Okay. Uh, so let's see. I went about 2 or 3 times before college. After college, when my wife and I started dating, I think we went like once a month for like a year and a half. So what is that? 18, almost 20? Something like that.
So we got one question in 30 seconds.
It's
How
harder
about
than I thought.
yeah. All right, how about we'll try let's try for 2 or maybe 3. Just go gut reaction, like we have
Okay.
one of those
Okay.
what do they call those tests where it's like just don't think, just say whatever comes to your mind.
Just say it. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Okay.
How many trips to Disney World?
Trips to Disney World. Believe it or not, my first trip was in like 2018. I would say before we moved out here, like 5 or 6 trips. And now that we're here, we're going like every other weekend.
So 50 plus? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
have you ever visited a park outside the US?
Yes, Tokyo Disneyland.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Awesome. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. I see what you're doing. As many questions as we can in 30 seconds, right?
You want to
I
start
feel like
over?
I completely missed that. Yeah, maybe we should just start over. Okay, go ahead. I feel like I
Okay.
thought it was like answer a question in 30 seconds. I feel so silly.
All right, we'll start from the top. We'll start from the
Okay.
top. Okay, ready? How
Okay.
many trips to Disneyland?
At least 20,
How many trips to Disney World?
50 plus.
A park outside the US. Have you visited one?
Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo Disney Sea. Highly recommend.
Awesome. What's what piece of advice found in your book have you given the most to people?
Start a walking program. You don't know how much walking you'll actually do until you get here.
Okay. And what's one thing they can start on today?
Start that walking program. Definitely start that walking program. Yeah, whether or not your
Okay.
trip is in a month or 3 months, as long as you start, you'll be making strides and leaps towards having a pain-free Disney trip. So,
Okay. All right. So we can expound on whatever you want to expound on now.
um, gosh, okay. So we talked about. Oh, can I talk about international parks?
Of course, please.
Have you gone to an international park?
I've been to Paris Disneyland. That's the only
Okay.
one I've been to. Yeah.
I love that. So you've been to what's the other park called? So there's Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney
And
Studios. Is that the other
yeah, I think
park?
that's what it's called. Yeah.
I want to say you've been to both of those
Yeah.
parks.
We did both. Yeah. But that's 10 plus years ago now. So,
Oh, time to go back.
yeah.
Time to go
Yeah.
back.
You hear
Time to go
that,
back.
hubby? Are you watching?
um, man, Tokyo Disneyland. Like I cannot recommend going to Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo Disney Sea enough. Mm. And I guess so. Flying from California made it a little easier because that was a 10-hour flight. Yeah, in perspective, it was a 10-hour flight compared to something like 15 or 16 hours if you're coming from Orlando. Um, but like the flight's long, so yes, hydrate, move. Um, but when you're out at Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, like the vibe is so different from the domestic theme parks. Everyone is so respectful. The way they run the parks is just so different. The way, I mean, like the little things, the way everyone gets in line one behind the other, and respects your space. The rides are incredible. Like everything about Tokyo. I want to go back so bad. So
Oh,
bad.
yeah, I want to go. I never really had a big interest in just that whole part of the earth. But then I had friends move to Japan. They were learning Japanese and they actually moved there and lived there for like 5 or 10 years. And once I saw them start posting all the stuff about just life in Japan, I was like, okay, I want to go now. Like, I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
such it's such an experience.
I've heard a lot of people describe, maybe you can give your 2 cents, describe Tokyo Disney Sea as like the best, most beautiful park in the world, not just of Disney, but just anything. Have you heard that?
I've heard that, and I want to agree, but I need to see everything else first. So you know what? I'm gonna have to go on a research trip to make sure
There
that that happens.
there you go. There you go.
And on the
But
way, I'm going to be documenting everything I'm doing to make sure that my trip and my whole vacation is pain free.
there we go. Hey, second book. I hear it right there. Second book.
International trips. International trips.
But to your knowledge so far, Disney Sea. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Gosh, it's such a different vibe. Like, it could easily not feel like a Disney park in a really good way. It just feels like you're stepping into a different world. Uh, until, of course, I guess you get to the back of the park and you go to, I think it's Fantasy Springs, I think is what it's called, which is very, very IP oriented.
Mm-hmm. The
But
new area.
until you get in the back of the park there, you're like, wow. Even I can't remember what the name is called, but when you walk down into the whole area that's themed after the Little Mermaid, um, you see King Triton's castle and you walk down into the sea. Like walking in, you're like, where am I going? If you don't know, then you don't know exactly what you're getting into until you see the rides that are in there. It's so pretty, so
Wow.
pretty.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get to experience that.
And I'm gonna have
Okay.
to go to Disneyland Paris soon too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um okay, I'm trying to find my place. Okay.
yeah, no,
Uh
you're good.
so I know in your book you mentioned starting the walking plan, and you want to start that as far in advance of your Disney trip as is possible. But do you have like a recommended time frame of like this is like an ideal time to start before your Disney trip?
Yeah, really good question. So, um, yeah, the first thing I would say is yes, of course, start a walking plan as soon as you can. But not all walking plans are going to be the same depending on what your activity level is and what your fitness level is. Um, so, for example, if your fitness level, like how much you're able to handle in terms of exercise, if your fitness level is at a point where you can handle moderate level intensity exercise where you're breathing harder and you can handle that for 30 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 times a week. If you can handle that, or if you can handle more intense exercise, that would put you in a um, higher fitness level category. And if you're in that category, you're likely going to need less time to prepare with a walking program, right? We're maybe
Mm-hmm.
talking between like maybe even just 1 month. Now, if you take your fitness level and it's pretty high, but your activity level is also really high. So, what I mean by activity level is how much you're on your feet all day, whether or not you're working, and whether or not your work involves a lot of physical activity. If you're working like construction, or if you're walking literally all day, you might need a little bit longer to get on that walking program, only because you need more time for your body to recover during your walking program. So to go back, if you have a high fitness level and a high activity level, you might need longer than a month. If you have a high fitness level and a lower activity level, let's say you've got like a desk job, you're a tech worker working in the office, sitting down all the time, you probably would need a little less time just because you have more time for your body to recover in between all those days of walking. Now, on the flip side, if you have a lower fitness level and a lower activity level, then you're going to need even longer to do that walking program. So instead of 1 month, we're talking maybe between 1, 2, or 3 months, depending on exactly where you would fall in those levels.
Okay.
If you have a lower fitness level but a slightly higher or a higher activity level, you're probably going to need between 1 to 2 months, kind of somewhere in the middle, right?
Okay.
So the amount of time is going to depend on those. For me, those two levers, let's call them levers: fitness level and activity level.
Okay. That doesn't sound too bad. That doesn't sound too intimidating. A couple months before your trip,
Mm-mm.
like it sounds like
Mm-hmm.
most people should be able to do that.
Right, right, exactly. And I my intent is to make sure that it feels doable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do everything I can to make sure that uh, you feel like everything's within your grasp to be able to prepare for your next Disney World trip. But also, we need to respect the fact that the human body still needs time to build muscle, build resiliency in the bones and the ligaments and all the soft tissue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to respect the fact that you're going to need a month, maybe a little longer, depending on how your body is.
Okay. So then that brings us to the next questions. What about that person or family that's like, oh no, we just came across your information. We are interested in this. We love this. But our trip is next week. We don't have time. Like, we have a week we can walk, but we're
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
like just getting there. What can they do in the park to help their bodies deal with all this walking and all this excitement and elements and everything?
Totally. Really good question. And there's going to be a lot of people that fall into that category. So there's still a lot that you can do, a lot of options that you have to be able to have a pain-free Disney World vacation. Um, One of them being, even before you get to the parks, one of them could be watching how much you pack, making sure you only pack the essentials. And I talk about this a lot in my book. And I talk about this from the perspective of being as minimal as possible. But I know there are people out there that have a few other necessities that they need to bring, right?
Mm-hmm.
But packing as minimal as you can within reason is going to be big because one, it's a lot to lug around, one or two suitcases. Um, and two, it's going to be a lot to lug around a big backpack in the theme parks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine, and I see this a lot in the theme parks. I imagine um, the person that's walking around with a full-on either like big JanSport backpack or a hiking backpack, and it's like jam-packed full of stuff. Like it looks like you're going on a 10-day backpacking trip, and I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to bring the kitchen sink with you. You can save that for beaches and cream. That's fine. But yes, that's the first thing is watch how much you pack.
Okay.
Another thing that you can do is if you're a week out and you've got the book handy, you can turn towards the back of the book. There's a set of stretches that you can start practicing. And I give you a lot of options, but I highly recommend going through each of those stretches. Each of those stretches in the book has pictures and instructions. I recommend going through those stretches, seeing which ones make you feel good, make you feel a little looser, or which ones you just like. Practice them for a week and then utilize them throughout the day, whether or not it's in the morning before you go out for a day in the parks, or if it's in the middle of the day, like you're standing in line to stretch. Which, by the way, really big piece of advice: standing in line, stretching is makes it really easy to keep your body from getting stiff.
Mm-hmm.
And then stretching towards the end of the day to help recover for the next park day.
Okay, yeah, I think let's see if I was trying to get them to play earlier, but let me see if I can show one of those stretches you sent. It's
Let's see if it pulls up. Yeah.
it's not coming up for me.
I wonder. It looks like I have the ability to share my screen. Maybe I can pull them up myself too.
Sure, yeah, you try it.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Let's see. But as I'm pulling this up, I mean, these are three stretches that. Here we go. Maybe I'll just show one of these. These are three stretches that I personally love to do when I'm at the Disney parks. I tend to have like lower back stiffness if I'm standing and walking for a really long time. And when I'm standing in line, I will either, put my hands on a railing or a stanchion, or sometimes I'll stand behind my wife and put my hands on her shoulders so I can do the stretch. Let's see. Here we go.
It works.
Uh, let's see. Oh, it says, what's going on here? It says Google Chrome would like to record this computer screen and audio. Do I just accept?
I th- I think so. I mean, yeah, it would. We're recording, so I would imagine.
Um, let's see. Looks like I'm not exactly sure how.
Okay.
It's I don't know if it's working. That's all right. That's all
Okay.
right. I mean, I can at least describe it. Do you think that'll work?
Well, I was gonna say, tell us about. We have the book, but tell us about the online course, which gives you access to all of those videos, right?
Yes, that's a good point. That's a really, really good point. So I've got an online companion course for the book. So in making this course, I realized, yes, a lot of people like to read, but I know that there's also a big population of people out there that love visuals and listening. So I developed this online course where it's pre-recorded. I'm talking to you, explaining all these concepts to have a pain-free Disney World trip, and we've got slides demonstrating a lot of these concepts. But like you said, we've also got videos demonstrating and describing all of these stretches. So it's all in the course. Really easy to understand. Yes, it's all there.
Okay. So I was unclear. Do you have to buy the book in order to do the course? Can you do the course separately? Can you do all of it? I assume you can do all of it, but
You can do all of it, but yes, they're sold separately. So the book can be purchased online separately, and the course can be purchased online separately as well. So if you want to do one and not the other, easy to do.
okay, great. So yeah, if you're self-aware enough to know I'm a visual over reading or I'm reading over visual, then there's your answer about which one to go for. What are your goals going forward now that we have this beautiful book, which I had the privilege of helping you get ready for production, and I have to say it's a really great book, and I recommend it to everyone. But what are your goals going forward now, since the book is here and the online course is here?
First of all, thank you. You've been such a big help. So I couldn't have done this without your help for sure.
You're welcome.
Um, so the first couple things that came to mind after finishing the book was uh, I could write a series of books on how to have a pain-free vacation. So this is in the works, but writing a book on how to have a pain-free cruise vacation or a pain-free international trip. And then my next step, so before even those books, my next step is, and my goal is to write a book on how to prepare for your first Run Disney 5K race.
Ooh, I love it.
So I love this one too. Thank you. I love this because it's for those that love going to the Disney parks and know about Run Disney and have thought about doing a Run Disney race but aren't sure whether or not they can do it. This is perfect for them because really, if you're able to handle a day or 5 days at Disney World, I'm confident you can handle a 5K run Disney race.
That's probably true. Yeah, never thought of it like that. But if you'll take my votes, we have our first Disney cruise coming up in November, so I vote for the Disney cruise book first.
I'll have to. Yeah, yeah. Oh shoot. Okay, I've got some extra motivation over here.
uh, no, yeah, you don't need
I love it.
that.
I love it. I love it. No, that's awesome.
Okay, so given your great familiarity with both coasts, tell us about your experience. If we can go into my niche of the hotels, what's your experience with the hotels at Disneyland and Disney
Oh,
World? What are your
yeah.
favorites, your non favorites?
So I've stayed at a number of the Disney World hotels, but believe it or not, I haven't stayed at any of the Disneyland hotels. So I haven't stayed at Disneyland Hotel, Pixar Place, or the Grand Californian. Every time we would go down to Disneyland, we would stay across the street, probably off of Ball Drive. I think it was Ball Drive.
Okay, that
Um,
works.
yeah, so close enough to where we could walk there if we wanted to, or we could drive there, for more than a couple miles away. So yeah, my experience has always been we stay at a more budget friendly hotel. It's just literally something we go into, sleep, wake up, and go into the parks all day, come back and sleep.
Hmm.
So nothing crazy, but nothing to complain about.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, a lot of the budget hotels can be found along Ball Road there, you know, the Days Inn, the Travelodge, those types of
Hmm.
stuff up there on Ball Road is good options for budget friendly or economical places to stay.
I do really wish I had some sort of guide or resource that would help me pick which hotel to go to. Especially, so I haven't been to Disneyland in a while, right?
Hmm.
And when I mean a while, I mean like maybe like 3 or 4 years. It's in Disney speak, that's been too long. But now knowing that there's a resource there that can help me choose which hotel to go to, and that resource clearly being you, the Disney hotel lady, is going to be huge for whenever I go back and decide to stay at one of the nearby hotels. So I'm really excited to dig in and see what you think about some of the hotels that I may be staying at in the future.
Well, thank you. Yes, I'm always adding more, so keep checking.
Yeah, that's the best part. Like, there's so many.
Yeah,
How many did you say
so
there
many.
were?
Over 100. Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
over 100 in just like a 2 mile radius, not even counting if you go up to, there's a whole separate like subset of hotels if you go around
Oh my goodness.
Knott's, which is only like a 10-minute drive away. And yeah, so. But then, yeah,
That's
when we
wild.
were just in Orlando a couple weeks ago, I was thinking like, okay, what about when I'm ready to come out here and do more hotels? And I mean, just driving down the freeway there, and it's like both sides full of hotels. I can't even imagine how many are near Disney World.
Yeah, that's so true. My wife's aunt and uncle were visiting from California just the other weekend, and they were staying. I don't remember what the name of the hotel was. Gosh, but I thought it was a Disney Springs area hotel. So when they gave me the address of it, I didn't even look it up at the time. But when they gave me the address, I knew it was around Disney Springs. But I went to go pick them up over the weekend from their hotel to hang out with them, and I was like, "Oh, this is just outside of the Disney Springs area, just outside of like Disney property." And as I was driving down that road, like it was 5 minutes away from Disney Springs, but I was driving down that road and there were like 10 hotels I drove by outside of the Disney Springs hotel area.
Yeah,
10 additional hotels. Like you're right, there's a lot.
there's a lot. Yeah. And that's just Disney. Then you got SeaWorld and Universal, and it's just cram
It's
packed
yeah,
over there with hotels.
it's a lot. I will have to say, so going back to like Disney World hotels,
Yeah.
my top Disney World hotel right now, at least of the ones I've stayed at, is the Riviera Resort.
Oh, okay. I haven't been able to stay at that one yet. I've tried on a couple of occasions, but stuff came up. Never got there. So,
It's so beautiful, and if you ever get the chance, stay in one of their studio rooms, which feels like a tiny apartment along the French Italian Riviera, right? Um, but it feels so quaint and homey and cute, and like everything about it I love. And we were fortunate enough to have a balcony view of the Skyliner, um, and like just that whole area, the hotel itself. It's beautiful. It's magnificent.
I bet. I bet. Okay, well, thank you for that input on the hotels. We have, I think we're coming to a close. I don't know if there's anybody here who has any questions for Steven about getting ready for your Disney trip. If you do, drop them in the comments real quick and we'll try to get them answered. But we want to let you know about a giveaway we're going to be doing. I think we're going to start it tomorrow.
Yep.
And we've got two of Steven's books here, Disney Ready, Your Pain-Free Park Survival Guide. Two of them to give away. And you can find the giveaway will be mainly on Instagram tomorrow. So follow one or both of us to get a chance to win the book. Even though
Yes.
it's pretty cheap. I've got a discount code for you as well. So if you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to wait for the giveaway to be over, I'm going to put that discount code in the show notes and on Instagram. So go on and buy yourself a copy.
I love it.
So
I love it. I love it.
I don't see any questions. No questions have popped up. So I think that that's our time. That's our discussion for today. Unless you have anything else to add, Steven?
I don't think so. Well, I can make a soft announcement if that's okay with you.
Go for it, please.
So after a lot of deliberating and a lot of discussion and going back and forth with ideas, we're gonna be going through a bit of a name change, but not a brand change.
Okay.
And you could still find me right now for the moment at disney.dpt on Instagram and disneydpt.com. But pretty soon we'll be launching Fit for the Magic, which I I do love the name a lot.
It's very
But
cute.
Fit for the Magic is going to be your home for physically preparing for your next vacation, whether or not it's a cruise, a theme park vacation, flying, what have you, so that you can have a magical trip without the pain.
Because travel is magical, or it's supposed to be.
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
All right.
But yeah,
Well,
thanks for having me,
congratulations.
Stacey.
Oh,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Find Steven, as he said, for now on Instagram at disney.dpt, which stands for Doctorate of Physical
Doctor of
Therapy.
Physical Therapy. Yeah. Hey, I love it. Oh, I love that.
All right. And look for the giveaway tomorrow. Once again, I'm Stacey, your Disney hotel lady. Thanks for joining us tonight. And thanks for watching if you're watching this later. All
Oh,
right.
thank you. I love that. I love that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night.